If you truly want to know, open your mind!
Andrew Godsmith here, Godsmith of Chaos, here with another Exodia Millennium deck profile for you, post Crossout Breakers. This deck, absolutely love it. One of the best decks, if not the best deck. Yes, it's not meta, but that's only because not everybody's playing it. If everybody played this deck, it would be considered meta. That's all it means. Everybody's only playing Malice and Ryzeal because that's just what all the Yugi tubers and that's what Konami's pushing on us right now. But honestly, there's many decks out there that do just well. You just got to know what to stop them, and just like a lot of decks, the text is what the decks survive off of. Yeah, they got their own engine, but it also matters on what tech cards you use in it. Now, with how Konami keeps making each deck better and better and better by making the summoning much easier and just a big flow, this deck can kind of slow them down and stop them. It is kind of, I get people mad at me for it, but you know, they think I stop them from playing, but you know, their deck, they're going to combo off, get a big board out, and then stop you from playing anyways. So what's the big difference from playing like a Floodgate or two compared to a deck that builds a board that makes you can't play anyways? Anyways, before I get to it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my video so I can keep making more of these. I need the help. I need the inspiration. I need the motivation to keep going, guys. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really means a lot. Let's go. Now, of course, when you're playing Millennium, Exodia, you need to play Ankh. This is your main card that you go into. This is the card that gets you into your Exodia, the Incarnate, the Unstoppable Incarnate. You need to have this card in your hand. So that's why we play it at 3. Almost every card that we play gets you to this card. Next, we play, of course, the 5 pieces of Exodia, because to be able to play this card, you need to reveal all 5 of these. Simple as that. If you can reveal all 5 of these, either from the field or your deck or your hand, make sure they're not in the graveyard or banished, but if you can reveal them, then you special summon out your big boss monster, this guy. It's the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate. And it's just like an Omni Negate for spells and traps. Once per turn. But once you get him out on the field, if you have Exod, which wipes the entire field, it surprisingly works well. Plus, the deck has a few other like interruption cards, like this one, Heart of the Blue Eyes. This card you also want to see in your hand. It's like a must to see in your hand at the start because it's a free Ankh. You just discard this card whether you have Shifter out or not. You get Ankh to your hand and then you can go off. But as long as this card's in your graveyard and you have activated or resolved Ankh, if it has resolved, then while this is in the graveyard, it is live, and if your opponent activates a monster with 3,000 attack, summons a monster with 3,000 attack, or level 8 or higher, it just sends it to the graveyard, and then this special summons. Plus, because it's Grandpa's card, this card is also treated as Millennium card, and it cannot be switched of control. So, it stays yours. They can't triple attack this talent, this card, which is really good. And then we have 3 shield. This is your other 1 card starter that gets you into your Ankh. 1 card starter in a sense. I mean, this deck isn't a combo deck. There is no 1 card starter. Next, this is Sengenjin Wakes from Millennia. This is your carrier of your Millennium pieces. Yeah. Next is Golem that guards the Millennium treasures. This gets you into your field spell, and which is also kind of a 1.5 card starters. Sorry, I guess he's considered like a 2 card starter because Golem goes into Yugioh. Then Yugioh, you need to have another monster in your hand. Yugioh Temple is like a 1.5 card starter. If you have Yugioh, you play Yugioh, and then any monster in your hand you can place in a spell and trap, which is really good if you have a Millennium monster, because if you have a Millennium monster, say Sengenjin and Yugioh will place Sengenjin and the spell and trap, and then you place the shield on the other side, and then you pay 2,000 life points to get the shield. The shield gets you Onk. Onk can then special summon Sing Engine for free, so you don't have to spend another 2,000 life points. And then Sing Engine gets you Heart of the Blue Eyes, and yeah. Then, of course, Terraforming to also search you, wedge you, set rotation, because I do play another field spell, which is Secret Village of the Spellcasters. You get this out going first against many decks that are out there. You pretty much win. You get this with Exodia, the Unstoppable on the field. You get this and Millenniumize Restrict and Exodia on the field. You pretty much guaranteed your win. Next, the other two main cards that you're going to have to play if you are going to play Exodia is Obliterate Blaze and Exod. Most people play both, but there are a lot of deck profiles that only play Exod Fires of Rage and get rid of Obliterate Blaze to play 2 Exod. That is a decent idea, but I like the 10,000 attack bonus of Obliterate Blaze compared to Exod Fire of Rage, which just wipes out your field. Going first, or your opponent's field. Going first, you want to search this during your end phase. You set it during your opponent's field. You wipe out their field. Then during your opponent's end phase, you want to search Obliterate Blaze, because during your main phase 1, you activate Obliterate Blaze, which then triggers Exodia to take on the 10,000 attack by placing the 5 pieces in your spell and trap. And you're pretty much guaranteed a win after that because it does piercing damage. Bang, bang, boom. This deck wins off of 1 attack. It's, in a sense, like a pseudo Tempai, but better than Tempai, I find. Dimension Shifter, I find it's a must in this deck, either in your side or in your main. I still play it in my main, because if I go against Malice, I'll just side it out for Lancia, because Malice needs to banish. So you just side this card out for Lancia, and then you keep Lancia in your deck. Effect Veiler, again, I enjoy this card. It's a tuner, spellcaster. This with shield gets you into Muddy Mud Dragon, then Muddy Mud Dragon plus another monster on the field gets you in Millenniumize Restrict, gets you into, I'm drawing a blank, gets you into, I was right, Millenniumize Restrict. And then it stays on the field because it's actually considered a Millennium monster. Then 3 Ash Blossom, because it's so versatile. It's pretty much played in every deck. I recommend it. It can stop your opponent. It can be the winner that wins you the match. Then next, I play 3 Imperm. It's a must. This is played in almost like every single deck. It's an amazing card. Amazing card. Absolutely love it. Next, for my one-ofs, you don't have to play these next 2, but they have came in handy and have actually kind of almost won me the match, technically, just because of the cards that I banish. 1, Bestial Megamet. Going against any deck that plays dark or light monsters, if they go to the graveyard, you just use it to banish and then summon it. And then you can search out Heart of the Blue Eyes during the end phase. So if you're going second, you have this card in hand, your opponent special summons monsters, blah, 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 blah. They have a monster in the graveyard, monster on the field. It's a quick effect. Bam, you get out Magna Hut, and then you're guaranteed Heart of the Blue Eyes if they don't stop it. Next, I play 1 Called by the Grave. This comes in handy. You can probably toss it if you don't want to use it, because it can be a brick, but at the same time, it can also really help. And 1 Angel Statue Azaroon. That's it for the main deck. Let's get on over to the extra deck. Back in the day, the fusion deck. Since the main card that I really only need, like I can have a fusion deck of just like 3 monsters, because really the only monster that I summon from here is Exodia Incarnate. So we play an obvious 3 of these bitches. They are awesome. Absolutely love this card. It's a must. Next, Millenniumize Restrict. Play this at 1. Millenniumize Restrict. It needs to relinquish or 1 +1 effect monster. Wouldn't that be awesome if you can use like relinquished anima or something. That would be freaking awesome, but it says relinquish, not relinquish monster. But luckily it's a Millennium monster, so it stays on the field after you use Ankh. Then, because I do play Super Poly in the side deck, got Goooo and Mud Dragon. They come in handy. One Link Spider. For when you brick and you get a Lincoln, you got two limbs in hand. So with Link Spider, it can be really helpful. You got Link Spider, two limbs in hand, normal summon a limb, go into Link Spider effect to summon the other monster, which would be a level 1 as well. Then that level 1 would go into Relinquished Anima. Then those two monsters you can go into Silhouette Rabbit or any other Link 2 monster. Silhouette Rabbit, which then gets you an Azaroon. So if you brick, I mean, there's some plays that you can get into that you can do. Yeah, they're not highly beneficial, but it's better than fully bricking and not being able to do anything. Get into SP Little Knight. Then I also play the Access Code. I love the Access Code line with Dark the Dark Charmer, Celine, and Access Code. It's won me matches before, because like if one of your limbs or something get into the graveyard, you're pretty much screwed. So if you're able to get into Access Code, it could potentially win you the game. One Muddy Mud Dragon for the Millenniumize Restrict play, and one Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis. I will quickly show you that combo using the few pieces. So I'll get it out using Effect Veiler. So we got Effect Veiler, and let's just say I'll grab those. Cool. Let's say you have these two in your hand and 3 other random cards. So this is what you draw. Wait, you're going to need Effect Veiler. Hold on. I screwed up. There it is, still in my hand. This is what you open up with. Yes, it's 3 cards, but hey, sue me, whatever. You want to play Wedju Temple. So Wedju Temple, which then Sengenjin will Wedju Temple and Shield. What you'd want to do, pay 2,000 life points to summon Shield, get your Ankh. This just saves you whatever. So reveal Ankh, summon Sengenjin. Sengenjin can search Heart of the Blue Eyes, or if you want another monster, you can go into the Ogre, Golem that protects the Millennium Treasures. This guy, so you can search either or. I personally like going for Heart of the Blue Eyes because I can send Heart of the Blue Eyes to get me a second Ankh for follow-up. So you search Heart of Blue Eyes, discard the graveyard, get your second Ankh. Now, you normal summon Effect Veiler. Normal summon, your opponent's usually like, why are you normal summoning Effect Veiler? Well, that plus the shield goes into Muddy Mud Dragon. Muddy Mud Dragon effect, using Sengenjin to fuse, to using its effect to go into Millenniumize Restrict by using itself as any fusion material, and the other one must be correct. So Muddy Mud Dragon equals Relinquished plus Effect Monster. So these two would go into Millenniumize Restrict. Then you can activate Ankh. Ankh, reveal your 5 pieces. Then you can special summon out Exodia, keeping Millenniumize Restrict on the field. Some people play Instant Fusion, but what happens with the Instant Fusion is it gets sent to the graveyard, and yeah, you can't exactly bring it back. Well, doing it this way, you can bring it back, and yeah, that's it. Then when you'd pass, you'd use his effect to set Exod. Then you'd have a monster negate, spelled negate, and a board wipe. Now on to the side deck. The side deck, depending on what your locals are, is going to look pretty different. But for the most part, I find this side deck is pretty much standard nowadays, give or take a card or two. So, first off, Ultra Army Perulia at 3. For obvious reasons, it's a great card, but maining it and going second, maining it and going first is kind of pointless because you're going to have cards on the field. Or you can't have cards on the field, you can't control anything for it to work, so it must be there. Now, going second, you side this in with Shifter. You can Shifter, Chain, Perulia, and bam. Now, if you're not going to use Shifter, because you're going against Malice or something, then obviously Artifact Lancia, I play that at 3. Beautiful card. You can set this card from your hand in the spell and trap zone as a spell, During your opponent's turn, if this set card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you contribute this card from your hand or face up on the field. Then neither player can banish cards for the rest of the turn. Which is amazing for the Malice cards because they need to banish cards, and if they can't banish cards, it pretty much locks them out. So it's like the reverse Shifter, but only for Malice. Because most decks don't need need banishing. Yeah, so really good card. Next, 3 Super Poly. Again, a really good card, great interruptions. I need 3 of the same rarity. I would love it to get it in QCR, that'd be wonderful. But yeah, if anybody has them QCR and wants to send them to me for Christmas, I would love it. Shoot me a message down below, that'd be awesome. But yeah, don't worry about that, sorry. Anyways, then 3 Crossout. The reason why I play with 3 Crossout, because if I'm going into a mirror match, or if I go going against a deck, going second, that I know they play a lot of hand traps that are going to stop me, or they know how to stop my deck, and if I'm already playing those cards, bam, I can stop it. Just like if they're going against me, there's a lot of decks now that are playing Dimensional Barrier, so that could pretty much help me out with that as well. And for the last card in my sideboard or side deck, I play Dimensional Barrier, so I can lock out the Ryzeal Xyz plays. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't work with the links, but if I'm going against Malice, that's why you would want to do Lancia instead of Dimension Barrier. But that's it for my deck profile. Also, don't forget, because I forgot it last video, with Sengenjin and Shield, they have some other they have a second effect. Or technically, I guess it's kind of their first effect. So, Sengenjin cannot be destroyed by monster effects, which comes in really good handy when it's on the field. It just kind of sits out there. It's a decently sized monster. Your opponents can't really get it over too much. They're like, oh shit, really? It can't be destroyed? Damn. Then my other favorite one is the Shield, because it's got 3,000 defense. Not a lot of monsters can easily get over that. Plus, it cannot be destroyed by spell and trap effects. So while these two are on the field, at least when there's like a spell or monster effect played, you'll have at least one still left on the field. It can help out. This is the one that usually stays out there the longest for some reason. Big defense. Sengenjin also just can't be destroyed by monster effects. What Golem does, though, is the activation of Millennium cannot be negated, which that is awesome. But it can be negated by using Crossout Designator. So if you're using Crossout Designator, it can stop your opponent from using Ankh, but only if during the mirror match. Yeah, anyways, that's it for my deck profile. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, don't forget to comment down below. Please subscribe. It helps out a lot. Love you all. May the heart forever be in your cards. Remember, don't get obliterated. Let's go.
Negate. Negate. Negate the hearts on them. Destroy them. Negate. Yep. May the heart forever be in our cards. Remember, don't get obliterated.
I know. That's why I said I looked.